Hello and welcome to the video lecture series brought to you by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. My name is Ravinder. I am an assistant professor with ETC department and we are discussing the subject called Object Technologies and Programming in Java. And today we are going to see the operators and what kind of expressions are there in Java language. And we are also going to see a demo, let's say a demo example of your first Java code. We haven't seen that in the last lecture, but today we're going to see that. But first I'm going to talk about the operators, and then in that particular demo we're going to see some expressions. Okay, so let's head back to the notes. So operators. Now most of the operators in Java can be divided into the following groups called arithmetic, bitwise, relational, and logic. Now, Java also supports certain additional operators to handle special situations, but most of them work in the Java as the same way as you people have seen in your C or C++ and other than that. Okay, now these are almost same. So let's head back to the operators first. The first type we are going to say is arithmetic operators. So for arithmetic operators, few of them are quite let's say obvious. You people must have seen them several times in your high school or your primary school mathematics and all. First is your plus operator, that is your addition. Next is the subtraction. They have their usual meaning. The multiplication, division, and then the plus plus, that is your unary operator, that is the increment by one operator. Decrement, this is also your unary operator, that is decrement by one. It depends. It is going to increase. It is going to pre-increment or post-increment depending upon the usage of your unary operator. Either it will be pre-increment, that is you have assigned the operator before the operand, or it is going to be a post-increment if you have assigned the operator after the operand. Okay. Next is your addition. Now, what does this means? This actually means, now if you have written like a is equal to a plus 1, then you can also write this in as a then plus 1. Now these two expressions are actually same. Now we have talked about expression. I haven't given you the formal definition of expression. Expressions are just the combination of your operands and operators. So when a particular statement in which operators are applied on the operands result in some value, that particular statement will be called as expression. Okay, so for this example, in this particular statement, the new value of variable a is actually the previous value of a, and then we have added 1 to it. Okay, so if the previous value of a is 5, so the new value will be the previous value, that is 5, and then plus 1 equal to 6. So this particular expression has few of the operators, that is this addition operator, and the operands are a and 1. And this is your assignment operator. You people must have seen that in your C and C++. The basic role of assignment operator is any value that is on the right hand side must be assigned to the variable or a constant to the left hand side. Okay, so this value will be assigned to the left hand side operand, that is a. This is your basic arithmetic expression, or a basic expression you can call. Now this can be short. This could be written in a short form by using this particular operator. Now the meaning of this particular expression is actually equal to this. So this turns out to be a and then plus with a with 1 and then equal, and that will be assigned to the operator a itself. Okay, so I think you have got the point what I am trying to say. It is just a shorthand notation for this particular statement. So let's move ahead. Similarly, the use of this in this case, the expression will be a is equal to a minus 1. So there's a decrement with 1, and it is not obligatory for you to insert this 1 here. This could be like this also. So in that case, you have to change 6 here. Okay, so it's up to you. And for these we have usual meanings. Let me again show you what this means. And if it has been written here as this. So okay, so anything which is preceding your assignment operator usually means in this kind of expression. Okay, and similar with your division. So in this case, it's going to be like this. Okay, so I think you have got the idea what I'm trying to say here. And next is your modulus. So modulus will be like 2. This particularly means if I divide the value in variable a with 2, so what is going to be the remainder out of that division? So if the value of a is, let's say, 6, so in that case your value will result in so this particular expression will become something like 6 2, and as you know 2 divides 6 completely or exactly, so in that case the answer will be 0. That is, when I divide 6 by 2, the remainder that will came out of the division will be equal to 0. Okay, if the value of a is 7, in that case the result out of this expression is 1. Okay, so I think you have got the idea what is this particular expression is. What this particular operator is. Sometimes called modulus, or you can say remainder, as you want. Okay, you can call it as you want. Now we are at the decrement and increment operators. So I have already told you what they mean. So a equal to a plus 1 could be written as a plus plus, or if you're trying to write a equal to a minus 1, then you can write a minus minus. So these are your single increment or decrement operators. I'm sure you must have used them in your C or C++. So they have their usual meanings. Okay. Now let's move ahead. I'm not going to talk about these bitwise now. Let's move ahead to directly to your relational operators. Okay. Now relational operators do have their usual meanings. You must have seen them earlier in your classes, that is as they have in the mathematics or relational logic, that is your discrete mathematics and all. So the greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. For equality, we have to use the assignment operator twice without spacing. So this means this something will mean as, let me remove this. So if a has a value of 2 and let's say b has a value of again 2, and if you try to find out if a is equal to b, then this will come out to be true. Okay, so the result of this equality operator will always be either true or false, so Boolean output will be there for you. And similarly with this not equal to, so if the value of b is, let's say, 3, in that case if we applied this equality operator, their value will be false. And if I have applied there this, in that case your value will be true, because what it says is if a is not equal to b, yeah, a is not equal to b because a has a value of 2 and b has a value of 3. So this is your relational operators. Okay, I think you must have all seen them before in your C and C++. These all have usual symbols and same symbols and same meaning. Okay, so I'm not going to pass any more time here. I think we are more than familiar with this. The last one are your Boolean logical operators. So these do have their usual meanings, as you people have seen the Boolean. You must have gone through your digital electronics subject, and there you have seen the meaning of your logical and, logical or, logical XOR. Okay, so the basic one that are going to be used by you normally are your logical and, logical or, XOR, not. Okay, these are the basic ones that are used, and this ternary, if else, and we will see them when we are going to use them. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you about these three only right now, and all of other have their usual meanings similar to these three, but with some few exceptions. When we are going to do some examples of them, then we're going to see what is the exact meaning of it. Okay, so logical and has its usual meaning. Logical and, or the and operator, says that the value out of a logical and expression is going to be true only and only if the the participating expressions both are true, or both participating expressions are true. Okay, the logical or has a meaning that the logical or expression will have a value equal to true if either one of the participating expressions result out as true. Okay, so your symbol will be these three. Let me head back to the IDE and just we'll see the example of each one of this, what I'm trying to say here. And let's not pass any more time here. Okay, it's better if we do an example of these things. There's nothing basically to study here. Pardon me, it's going to take a few seconds. Yeah, there it is. So let me erase this complete file. Okay, and okay, erase this also, and erase them also, and I will only leave this, and let me insert two of them. Okay, yeah. So we have seen the basic format of a Java application in the last lecture. I have just created a class called main2, and as I've told you in the last lecture, every Java application must have a class which must have a method called as main with same signature as I have stated here. So public static void main, which have the arguments of type strings. Okay, so let's start with initializing a variable. Yesterday we have seen how to initialize a variable. So first we have to type the type of the variable, that is int, if you want your variable of type integer. Okay, and let's say its name is a, and let's say its value is 8. Okay, so what I have done here is I have not initialized but declared a variable that is named as a, which is of type integer, and I have initialized it with the value 8. So 8 is actually assigned with the value a. Now this is your assignment operator, as I've told you before. Anything that is written on the right hand side will be assigned to the variable a. Now let me also initialize one more variable here. So it's going to be int b is equal to, let's say, 10. And now let's try to find out. Let me first initialize a variable of type boolean. Let me again tell you, the variable of type boolean could have only two values, that is either true or false. So I will result, and okay, and I will boolean, oh sorry, so result will be equal to, so let's use some of those relational and logical operators that we have talked about. So result will be equal to, let's say, bracket start, and a is equal to b. Okay, now let's try to print this. And let's say what is the result of this. So let us see what is the result of this particular expression. Okay, let's try to run it. False. Okay, so the output is false. Why false? Because it is comparing the value of a with b, and the value of a is 8 and the value of b is 10. So this particular expression will result in true only if the value of a is equal to b, which is not. So that is why this particular value results in false. So the value false will be assigned to the result. Let me tell you, not either true or false could be assigned to result, because it is a variable of type boolean, and boolean can only hold the values that is true or false. Not any other value could be assigned to it. That would be the violation. Okay, and we have printed out with standard printout function, that is system.out.println, and I have passed the argument that is called result, and the value of result is printed as false. So I think you have got the point. How to now, this is also an example of how to write an expression. So an expression has been written here. Something has been calculated, not calculated, but searched, not searched even, but found out that either if the value of a is equal to b using the equality operator. What if I write here as not equal to? Let's say in that case, what will happen? So again, we'll go to the console to see what would be the result. And this time it is true, because this time it is actually looking if the value of a is not equal to b. And yes, the value of a is actually not equal to b. A has a value of 8 and b has a value of 10. So in that case, this particular expression here will result in true, and this true will be assigned to the boolean variable result. And then I have printed out the value of the result variable using the standard output console output function, that is system.out.println. And let me focus on one thing. I have written all this inside the main function, or main method, I would say, not function, main method. Okay, so your main method is the first entity, or the first thread, or the main thread. Thread is a particular task which is going to be initiated ahead of all the other tasks. Okay, so compiler is going to look for main method first. Okay, so this is the few examples of how to use them. Let me also use one of the logical operators. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to write a logical expression here. So how to write a logical expression? So for logical operation, I'm going to write if a is greater than 5 and the value of AND operator. Okay, and b is less than 10. So this is your actually logical expression. So logical expression is saying that first it is going to see if the value of a is greater than 5. So it is going to be either true or false. Again, next expression, smaller expression is, or the participating expression is, if the value of b is greater than 10, smaller than 10. It is also going to result in true or false. And then the logical AND operation is evaluated or applied. The AND operation will result in true only and only if both of these expressions will result in true. If either one of them is false or both of them is false, this particular expression is going to result in false. So let's try to implement this and see what would be the result out of it. False. Okay, the value of a is greater than 5 and the value of b is less than 10. Why it is false? Because I have evaluated if the value of b is less than 10, but the value of b is actually equal to 10, and less than is not equal to. So this smaller expression results in, or the participating expression results in true, and this results in false. And the logical table of AND states that if either one or both of the participating expressions result in false, then the total output of the logical expression will be false, and that is why it has been written there false. What if I write here as 11? What would happen then? So let's see. This time it should come out as true. Yeah, and there it is, because the value of b is actually less than 11 and value of a is actually greater than 5. And if both of these participating expressions are true, then only the value or the result of this operation is true. So that is why the true has been printed here. So I think you have got the point how to use the operators, how to use the expression, or how to write the expression. Throughout the course, we are going to write expression in almost every example. There is no Java code without expressions. Almost. Okay. So don't need to panic if you don't understand, or if you think that we haven't seen any large quantity of examples of expression. We are going to use expression quite a lot of time in this whole course, so you will get enough exposure to the expression throughout the course. So I'm going to end this lecture now.